So we're living in challenging times right now, and one of the challenges for the world is what's going on in Ukraine. And there is a very real possibility that Russia could take control of the country, and we could see a time where Russian soldiers are patrolling the streets, and its citizens are stuck in a horrible situation of having to obey whatever instructions are thrown their way by those soldiers. But let's think for a minute if Jesus had been born 30 years ago, and now his ministry was starting, and he shows up in a city in Ukraine and he tells the people there that not only should they listen to what the Russian soldiers are telling them to do, but they should do even more for these men that they hate. I'm Scott Hilgendorf with Cowboys of the Cross, and this is the short go. One of the verses that we're going to look at is a source of one of the expressions that we have in our culture. We don't often realize how much our sayings come from Scripture. The idea of going the extra mile is one of those, and we're going to look at a verse where that comes from. Matthew chapter 5, verses 38 through 42. You have heard that it was said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I say to you, do not resist the one who is evil. But if anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to him the other also. And if anyone would sue you and take your tunic, let him have your cloak as well. And if anyone forces you to go 1 mile, go with him 2 miles. Give to the one who begs from you, and do not refuse the one who would borrow from you. So we're going to focus on verse 41. And if anyone forces you to go 1 mile, go with him 2 miles. Excuse me. So that is where obviously this saying, go the extra mile, comes from. And again, we don't realize that it came directly from Scripture. But Jesus was speaking to people who were under Roman rule. And in that time, Roman soldiers had the right to tell others from the countries, the cultures that they had conquered, they could tell them to carry their equipment for 1 mile. So if they're traveling from one city to another, they could just say, hey, you carry this, and you'd have to carry it for 1 mile. And Jesus is turning around and telling them, but not only should you take it for the mile that they tell you to, but you should go 1 more mile as well. And that would be shocking to the people because they're being asked to do something even more so for people that they likely hate and are mistreated by. So it's a challenge then when we look at what's happening in our culture today that Jesus would actually be saying the same thing to people there. But it's an illustration, an example of what it means to go the extra mile. And so I want us to think about just how that would apply to us here. We've got it easy. We've got it easy as far as what Jesus would be asking us to do. It's certainly easy to do more for people we love and care about, people that we know and are friends with. But think about somebody on the rodeo circuit that for whatever reason, you've just rubbed them the wrong way, got off on the wrong foot somehow, or they're just a jerk and they dog you show after show, criticize, they're posting stuff that you know is about you on social media, and they just do nothing but treat you like garbage. But you overhear that he's come up $50 short on his entry fees and he's trying to talk his way into the producer just letting him ride and pay him back later. And you walk over to the secretary's desk and you put the $50 down and pay his fees. Think about the impact that would have when he knows he's an absolute jerk to you and then you've turned around and done something that's nice and helpful to him. It's going to make him wonder why you did that. And in that wondering then, boy, do you have an opportunity to present the gospel of Jesus Christ to him, because the reason you did it then is because Jesus has taught you to do that. He's taught you to go the extra mile, to do something nice for someone. But it isn't just, simple things. It's challenges like that. Like I said, in our culture today, we don't have as many opportunities necessarily to do something for the equivalent of a Roman soldier or, the possibility of a Russian soldier. But I mean, think about the soldier that would lay down his weapon when he come to a saving faith in Jesus Christ. So by going the extra mile, we have the ability to show Christ in us to others. That why would we do something that would seem extraordinary to other people, out of character to other people? Well, because Christ in us is out of character to who we are, who we used to be. Once we're saved and have that saving faith in him, we begin to become more like him. And as we become more like him, people wonder about those changes in us. And that presents us then the opportunity to present the gospel to them. So by going the extra mile, we open more doors to share our faith and help others to come to a saving faith in Jesus.